2017. With that, I really got kind of involved with some of the things that you do with the class. So you'll be, if you join, you get on the adjunct board, and I was on like Parks and Rec. Well, that experience got me to want to do something different with the city. So I started joining the Bike and Ped Committee. So I've been on that for the last couple of years. Then my experience with Oshkosh at Corp, I am help recruiting the next 3 members who are going to join Leadership Oshkosh for the next class. So we have a fairly large population of people that have interest in this. So we do some interviews and then we select them. And then we go ahead and send them off to the program, and they get to experience this wonderful opportunity that you guys are all getting to see today. So that's kind of who I am and what I do.
Deb, do you want to share the same and what class you're from?
If I can remember that far back. Hi, I'm Debbie Heath. I'm with Fox Valley Technical College. I've been at the college for 30 years, in Oshkosh the majority of the time. And it was a while back that I was in Leadership Oshkosh, but I've joined the steering committee for Leadership Oshkosh about 2 years ago. And I'm really in a role for the college as Executive Vice President of Regional Centers. So I work out of the Oshkosh Riverside campus. I've participated and assisted Patty and John with Leadership Oshkosh in the last few years. We have multiple projects that we collaborate on, and it's sort of a whirlwind of what we do in Leadership Oshkosh every year. Patty does a wonderful job, and the steering committee does a wonderful job with organizing and making things happen. So it's a real eye opener for anyone that's in the Leadership Oshkosh group to learn about all of the different areas. And I know this past year has been a real challenge for everyone, not only in your work life, but personal lives. So I want to welcome you to this is the new day for Leadership Oshkosh. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for teeing that up, Deb, because that is exactly what I want to talk about too. Ryan, would you please share? Ryan is in the current class.
Yes, good morning, everybody. My name is Ryan Rasmussen. As Patty said, I am in the current Leadership Oshkosh class. I'm surprised nobody went there. Best class ever. I've been waiting forever to say it, and now I finally can. Anyway, like Patty said, I'm in this current class, and I will say this year, much like last year, is a very interesting experience with Leadership Oshkosh, just having to go through COVID and having all of those challenges. But in my actual paying job, I am the food and beverage manager at EAA, overseeing all of the food operations that happen on grounds, both during the show and year round. So all kinds of fun things happening in my life. And I'm sure we'll talk more. Patty, you want me to talk now, or do you want me to?
You can do what you want. If you want to talk a little bit about what did you like about it? Actually, one of the reasons I specifically, besides him being just a wonderful person, asked Ryan to be with us this morning is Ryan has had, and we'll go through this a little bit, has had a really unique experience that we can't always offer, but in his adjunct. So why don't you explain a little bit of what is this adjunct thing?
Yeah, sure. So as part of being part of Leadership Oshkosh, you're asked to join a nonprofit board, and you become an adjunct board member. And oh boy, I don't know, Patty, there's probably like 30 different boards that you can really choose from. And the students are asked to pick their top 4 that they'd like to participate in. With me having a food background, I first initially went in thinking, okay, 2 of my choices are going to be food related, and then 2 of my choices are going to be non-food related, just to maybe see something else as well. And I was lucky enough to be able to join the Oshkosh Food Co-op Board. They were ones that selected me to be part of it. And as Patty said, it has been an extremely unique situation for me. Not only because I have a food background, this was a great opportunity for me to be able to learn a lot more about what that program is and what it's doing. I will be honest, I did not know a whole lot about the Oshkosh Food Co-op and what the plans were and how it was developing and all that kind of fun stuff. So it was a great learning opportunity. But what I found myself in was a very active board that is currently building and set to open this summer, which also means it's a very busy board. And so because of my background, I've been able to assist in, I think, a variety of different ways, all the way from so far being part of the hiring committee that hired our general manager, all the way to being on our site and construction committee, which is overseeing the development of the building itself, the design aspects, the equipment, all of that fun stuff. To my newest committee, which is part of the marketing committee. I'll be the first to be honest. I don't know anything about marketing, but I'm a logistical person, so I know how to get things done. So it has been a very, very interesting and rewarding experience. And truly what I would tell anybody is those experiences, they are what you make them. And I've heard some other classmates say, you know, they're not maybe as active in their boards, or maybe their boards don't necessarily have as much going on as what we do. But it's all about how you jump in there, participate, you know, and just whatever knowledge you think you have, just throw it out there and see where it sticks. And it's been extremely, extremely rewarding for me. As a follow-up to that, because of my experience and because I'm having such a fun time doing it, I'm now currently running for an actual board position. And so our elections just opened up this last Monday, and I declared that I was running. So if any of you are members, I would appreciate you voting for me as well.
Thank you, Ryan. And also joining us this morning is one of last year's classmates, Abby Burlingham. Abby, can you unmute yourself? And what we're doing is, for those trying to make it as much as if we were all here in person. So if you would share a little bit about, so there's two in addition, and I'll go through, I've got a PowerPoint just to keep me centered a little bit that I'll go through. So we get through the logistics of the program itself, and then we'll open it up for questions. But in addition to the program, so Ryan spoke to the Adjunct experience from a nonprofit advisory board. Brad did a little bit. Abby, can you speak to the fundraising that the class does? And now keep in mind that Ryan is in this year's class, so their fundraising had to be completely virtual. Abby, all set up to be not virtual, had to meld over to that. When Brad and I happened to be in the same class together, ours, and you'll see pictures of that when we go through, was not. So, Abby, can you take it away and share a little bit?
Absolutely.
And tell us what you do on your day job.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. My name is Abby Burlingham. I am the, my official title is Mission and Brand Enhancement Director, AKA Marketing with the Oshkosh Community YMCA. And so I was part of the Leadership Oshkosh group when COVID hit. So we went through part of the year, awesome, great in person, and then COVID hit and we had to pivot and really learn lots of different tactics to kind of steer through a pandemic. So in my role at the Y here, I do a lot with our events, and as a nonprofit, raising funds and fundraising is a huge part of anyone's role. And to be honest, no matter what role you're in an organization, I think if you have a little bit of knowledge about fundraising, it's going to take you places. I fully believe that everybody should have some kind of knowledge of that. It's also a great thing to put on your resume if you've never done things. So what we did was we divided into groups, and I don't know how many years it was, Patty. How many years have you guys required to do an event?
It wasn't required back in, as I said, Brad and I are class of 2017.
That's
but
class
then,
over, by the way.
yeah. Okay, Ryan, see, he got it in. They forgot to say that whole best class ever thing. So Ryan jumped on that one. So you didn't hear that part. In 2000, I believe it was 2018, we started requiring it because we realized that, just as Abby said, if one of the reasons that people have said in the very end, you do a debrief, you do surveys every month. I kind of am the survey monkey queen, but and that was going on before me too. I don't want to take credit for that. But at the end, one of the things that people say that they really appreciate about Leadership Oshkosh is the networking opportunities. Well, this from a community leadership really forces your hand into needing to network and to work with other individuals within the community as well as within Leadership Oshkosh. So that's number one, why we added that as a requirement. Number two, it's a community leadership program. So the idea is that from an adjunct board standpoint, you're the is it called the farm team or whatever for board members of the future for the nonprofits and the advisories. I mean, they look to Leadership Oshkosh to recruit out of. So when Ryan said, okay, I'm on the food co-op and now running for the board, you'll look for, in a lot of cases, the individuals that are on their adjunct will continue on. When you're on a nonprofit board, and Abby and I can talk to, I mean, just as Abby said, our lives in nonprofit world is in marketing, as well as the board is understanding either doing the marketing for fundraisers and stuff, or at least if you're on the board, you better understand how important that is and how a fundraiser is put together for the community. So that is really why we did it. Plus the nonprofits that are selected are those that allow us to have those adjunct board experiences that Ryan was speaking of. So that's kind of background as to why did we include that in there. If you look at leadership programs, community leadership programs, every single one of them require that you do a project. Leadership Oshkosh, and I can't tell you how many years have required. Deb, when you were in Leadership Oshkosh, did they require the adjunct board experience? And you were, when were you in? I apologize. When were you in it?
2005.
Yeah. So that one has been around for a while. So this is the combination of not only the adjunct and understanding how the board works and there are all different kinds of boards for you to choose from. But then the fundraiser also allows you to work with those boards and choose which one you want to have. And Abby actually came in and helped us when we kicked off this year, because then the nonprofit boards will put together a small paragraph saying, choose us to be your fundraiser. And then the class also selects. And that is another thing that is not uncommon. When you are on boards, if you're on United Way, if you're on Kiwanis, you're going to be selecting where are you going to put your funds. So that was kind of the rationale into why we did what we did. And now what I'd like to do is I am going to share my screen just so that keeps me on track. Now, just confirming, everybody's seeing the Leadership Oshkosh information briefing on their screens. Yay!
Yep.
Love it when technology works. So some of these, and what I'm going to do too, is I'm going to send this to all of you. But once again, it just kind of keeps me on track as I'm going through. So our objective today is to really have you learn more as far as what does this look like? What is the Leadership Oshkosh program? If you go to our website under Leadership Oshkosh on the Chamber, we have a brochure on it, but you don't have the Abbies and the Ryans and the Debs and the Brads to answer questions. So I'm always here, but for them to be able to do that as well. I've got the calendar ready for 2021-22. I'm going to send that out. And then what the application process and to answer any questions that you have. The program is through the Oshkosh Chamber of Commerce. We have over 1,000 graduates. We cap it at 42. Now, this year we capped it at 24 because of COVID. As Deb indicated, we are game on for next year. We are going to go in person. We are not, and this year we did a blend because we needed to, and the end of last year's class, we did a blend as well. But with the vaccines out, and so by September, we shouldn't have any reason not to go on. Now, if something changes, I would never have predicted last March. So, I don't have a crystal ball from that perspective, but our overall game plan is we are recentering and we're going back to 42 max, and program's going to be in person. The retreat is going to be Friday, the 16th and 17th at the Osthoff. It's an overnight. And so for your schedules, a big part is to look at that and make sure you are able to be there. That is a requirement. If you say, you know what, Pat, I looked at that calendar and I can do everything, but I can't do the 16th and 17th, or I got to leave at noon, really, then this coming year isn't the year for you, because that is where really it's team building, it's understanding. The UW Oshkosh facilitates it. They do the graduate school in business. They do a wonderful job, and it really allows you to get to meet your other students that you're in with it. It runs in except for, I'm thinking 1 month. I think December I pulled it up just because it gets too close to Christmas. It's the third Wednesday of each month, October through May. We go from 7:30 to 5 o'clock. If we have a continental breakfast like 7:30, each class kind of decides when they want to run and when they want to do their fundraiser meetings. So, but if you're looking at your schedules, you need to block that off. And then we move around because each time the location is different based upon what content you're at. So the retreat is at the Osthoff. Hopefully everybody knows or could Google what that is. It is a lovely property. My background is that I was in marketing and human resources for many, many, many years before I joined the chamber, and had the opportunity to set up national sales meetings and conventions throughout the world. And I will say the Osthoff is really one of the nicest because you have the ability to be in these joint suites where you're not putting two people in the same bedroom kind of thing where you have to share the bathroom. You have a joint living room, and then you have your own bedrooms and bathrooms and a joint kitchen. It's wonderful. From that, it's on the lake. It's just very nice. Then that one looks at leadership styles, self-assessment. We also do the Strength Finder, Strength Builder. We have a consultant come in and do that ahead of time. And I'm just checking up here to make sure that I've got all the participants in that, because people are coming in. Yes, I do. So we also, at that point, you know who your nonprofit boards are because you've already been communicated what those are, and actually will have met with them once already. But they go through on presentations about what's to be an effective board member. What does that nonprofit look like? And then we do visioning exercises that as I said, it's really facilitated by the UW Oshkosh Business School. In October is History Month. So history and community planning. We get out and about. We learn about Oshkosh's past. And then we look at what are the future. That includes a bus trip around town, and also doing a scavenger hunt to understand what are the major historical posts that we have. So it's a fun team building, but also a great way to learn. And even so, I would be called a townie, even though professionally then I I worked out of the community and out of the state for a while, I learned stuff when I went through it that I didn't know. And when asked, other individuals that have gone through the program since I've been facilitating say the same thing. So even if you are a lifelong resident of Oshkosh, I guarantee you're going to come away with something you didn't know before. November is Government Day. We learn about the city, and it isn't stand-up presentations. You are actually on the Common Council. You have roles there. You learn how the government works, and also how the dependent upon availability, it might be state as well as county government works. So it's, once again, we try to, although there are going to be times we have stand-up presentations, we try as much to accompany, and even during this past year, we've tried that as well, to put activities with those so that you're not just sitting and getting, I believe the educators would call it. December is arts and culture, so we're over at the Payne, we're at the Grand, and understanding what we have in the community as far as arts and entertainment. It's a wonderful experience, and what a great time to be there, because with the whole having them be ready for the holidays and stuff, every place is all gussied up, and it's just fun. And we get into some actual acoustic experiences as well. We do a drum circle, so we bring out our artistic sense. January is Business Day, and of course, as the Chamber of Commerce, best day ever. No. So Business Day is where we have the CEO panel, and we also it's an opportunity. I try really hard to have you visit businesses that you would never have gone in the door before. And then you come back, report out. We have CEO, I should go back, we visit UW Oshkosh, see the business school there and kick off the day there. We have our CEO panel where the head of our large corporations, as well as we have a variety of individuals that have presented in the past. So Wilson Jones from Oshkosh Corporation, Tim Bergstrom from Bergstrom Automotive, and Javad Ahmad from Smart IS, representing international as well as companies that everyone has heard in our area. And then we also visit a local manufacturing plant, which I just shared. We do that. In February is Education Day, and we visit, that will be held over at Fox Valley Technical College, and showcasing what they have in their conference room for technology. We have a panel there as well, university, as well as Fox Valley Technical College and Oshkosh Area School District. Their CEOs basically do a panel. Prior to that, you actually go out and about to the schools. So you have the ability to go to those 3 schools, and you select kind of the same thing that you did with the Adjunct board, where you're given 3 to 4 choices, and then I try to match based upon that. And then you come back and present. And we look at the Oshkosh Public Library, look at for continuing ed. And this year, although we couldn't go inside the library, it was interesting to learn all of the online things that they are offering and will continue to offer after the pandemic. So from a continuing ed standpoint, it kind of opens your eyes up to what we have available to us. March is Health and Human Services Day, and we start out, we share between Aurora and Mercy Ascension. So we go back and forth in the morning and look at the ethical standpoint of healthcare, as well as trends that they see going on. This is going to be up, Ryan, is going to be up for you this, actually next week is going to be our Health and Human Services Day. We have to morph it this year a little bit still because of COVID, but next year our intent is that we will be actually in the hospital to be able to do that portion of it. In the afternoon is Human Services, And so we'll look at that is actually a simulation of the nonprofits in the area that come in, and you go through a simulation as to what people face in poverty. And that is a hands-on one. Then April is Criminal Justice Day, and we go from the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office, understanding both the challenges as well as the opportunities that we have available there. The police department is active with this, as is the district attorney, and he talks about alternative programs, and the correctional facility. We visit there as well. And once again, all of this is as long as we're able to get into these locations. If not, then I'm confident that by next April we will be able to get in there. But as in this year, what we're doing is we will be at the Sheriff's Department, and then we will have activities and panel from the Correctional Institute. So Ryan, you're getting a little forecast as far as what we've got going on. Opportunity Day, that's the day that kind of 365 brings it all around, looks at everything that you've learned so far and how are you going to apply it. We do that over at EAA, and that is a great opportunity for us to see that venue and all of the things that are available. And UW Oshkosh, our dean of the business school coordinates that day. And then we end it with a tour of the city by water, weather dependent, of course. And we are going to be doing that this year as well on Lou's Cruise. And then our Vice President of Economic Development gives us a tour of what we look like from there to really celebrate. And then at the very end, we have a graduation ceremony in the evening. And we have, it's just a fun evening with everyone, and you are encouraged to bring as part of your fee includes bringing your director, your manager, owner of your company to this to say thank you, because traditionally that's who sponsors you to participate here, as well as a representative from your nonprofit board that you have served at as a thank you. And we also have, it's a recognition for individuals that have been alumni for us in the past as well. Adjunct board experience, we kind of covered that already, so I'll go through, just kind of look at the, so I looked at, we have 24 people in the class, so this year we had 24 nonprofit organizations. When we have, Ryan was correct, we have over 30 options, well, actually over 35 options out there. When we have 42 people in the class, then what happens is that at times there will be multiple people at the same organization. That is, and I do want to highlight that Ryan's was an example of a very, a great level of participation, both for him as well as for the individuals that, for that organization as it's growing. There are a variety of different ones. And so when you see, I would like to do this particular one, you will get a survey from me, and it tells you when this board meets, how often it meets, about what they're looking for. In some cases, like in Ryan's case, they were looking for someone with his background, or if they're looking for someone with a financial background. Other times they'll say, we're looking for someone, just a really strong leader to be an adjunct. As an adjunct, you don't vote, but you are encouraged to be on some of the subcommittees for them, or a subcommittee for them. And then your goal is to ask questions and to really understand how does a nonprofit board work? Because this is community leadership. So it's about, after you graduate from this, how can you not only be a better leader within your organization, but how could you be a leader within our community? And it tees you up to be able to do that. This is a picture This dates it a little bit, so I think, Brad, this might be from our class or might even be from 2018. When it started out, the trivia and the Oshkosh Leadership Gives Back was done 100% in person at the, I call it Fratello's still. I'm old.
Fox River Brewery.
Yeah, Fox River Brewing. And it's a fun night. So if you have participated in trivia in the past, it's done. So you recruit a group. Usually, it's you recruit a group from your company to participate in this, and then the proceeds go back to whatever nonprofit the class selects. Out of that one that I said, the nonprofits are the nonprofits that write in and give you an example of what they plan on doing, and they are an adjunct. And then a percentage of it also goes back to the Leadership Oshkosh Foundation to continue building the program. But it's a fun night. As I said, the big thing that people have said in the past in every survey, and if I look back even longer than 7 years ago, is networking. It provides you with networking opportunities within your class, and also because, as I said in the very beginning, where there's over 1,000 graduates, you get a list of everybody that's been in it. You call somebody up from that one and you say, I'm a Leadership Oshkosh alum. It really does help you be able to understand what being in Leadership Oshkosh is about. And they're, lifelong friends a lot of times have been formed from this. Application process. So if this sounds like something that you would like to participate in, or as in some of your companies, if your director or the owner of the company is voluntelling you to do this, occasionally we get that as well. The link, I will send you that as well. It is on the Oshkosh Chamber site. It's on leadership, under Leadership Oshkosh on the bottom, and then you fill that out and it goes into me. Applications are due by June 1st, and by the middle of June you would be told your application status. We're very fortunate that every year we have had a waiting list for individuals to get into the program. So I can't tell you that if you apply, you will get in, because we also take a look at making sure we have a mix between nonprofit organizations, for-profit organizations, public sector, as well as large organizations, medium and small. So we really do try to give you a good experience within the class of having a variety of different individuals in. I will also say that if you don't make it in, there will inevitably be someone that either accepts a position out of the community or whatever. We try really hard to let you know, as I said, by the middle of June, what your application status is, so that you can plan out your next year. And if you don't get selected the first time, we have the waiting list, and I have gone into the waiting list where that happens. June and July, we do group orientations and have you come into the chamber and start to get to meet individuals that are in that class. Late August, beginning of September, that is when we will, although I'm going to give you the calendar now so you'll understand what that is, but the retreat is at the middle of September. Your adjunct board information, I will get out to you so you make that selection by late August, so that what we learned was that some of these boards do not even meet every month. Well, goodness, if they meet quarterly and that happens to hit and you miss September, and that was one of the times that they meet. So that's why we make sure that you already have that opportunity to start your adjunct board in September. And then September 16th and 17th is when we begin. Tuition for chamber members is $16.95. That is the same that it has been. We did not increase that. And for non-chamber members, it's $2,045 and that includes everything, the retreat, all meals, transportation, supplies. We do provide transportation over, I didn't say that, but I should. We do provide transportation over to the retreat. It's on the fun yellow school bus. But we do that for part of the team building experience. And unless there's medical reasons, everyone is required to take the bus. Tuition, then once you're accepted, would be mailed out in June and then due by July. And if the tuition is an obstacle for you, then please contact me, because we do have a scholarship fund, but I will say it's for nonprofits. So I end with, there's really no wrong time to do Leadership Oshkosh. It really is when you can commit to this, because to quote Ryan, it's kind of what you get out is what you put into it. But sometimes in life, you really want to do it, but gosh, you don't have the time. So with that said, I'm going to stop sharing and go back. And so now this is the time that you have. So if you want to unmute yourself, if you've got questions, and I see that there's some in chat. So let me take a look at what the chat is saying. Okay, so somebody just had to leave early. I will send you, I actually hit record. We do that just in case you ever wanted to go to any of the webinars that we put on every month now. If you check the chamber event page, all of those are recorded so that you can look at them and stream them at a later time. But with that said, so I will do that with this one too. So if you know someone else within your organization, I know I do have at least one representative who is doing this to be able to share it back with their organization, so you would have this. So this is the time for anybody that has questions.
And I'd like to just throw out there that for everybody on the call, I know that this is kind of, she's saying, if you are voluntold or whatnot, but really you should feel honored if you're able to do the program and you apply and get in. It's an amazing program. Whether you're the CEO of a company or you're an intern somewhere, you're going to get something out of it. Even things like Government Day that I didn't think I would be interested in, they're fun. You learn a ton, and you also make not only business connections, but a ton of friends throughout the way. So I would highly encourage everyone to apply.
Any other questions?
I'll just throw another thing out there right away. And Patty and I were just talking about this, I think if it wasn't last class, maybe a couple of classes ago, but I want to echo what she said about, even though she's a townie, I am also a townie, lifelong resident, never left, and I'm darn proud of it. But I have had the opportunity to not only go through Youth Leadership Oshkosh at the high school level, but now I'm also doing regular Leadership Oshkosh. And I will say, even though the programming days are very similar, the things that you take away from each of those classes are so very different, especially from the high school level to the adult level, that you will most certainly, as a lifelong resident, still walk away learning things that you didn't think you were going to learn. And especially being a townie. So I just want to echo what Patty said. There's always room to learn more about your city, and I know I have. So.
And
I'm Cindy Buckley. I'm with Community First Credit Union, and I was a former member of Leadership Fox Cities, which is very, very similar. And it was a really great opportunity. I'm a transplant to the Fox Valley area, and it really helped me get to know my community and become involved. So I am really excited about this. I oversee the Oshkosh branches and really excited to get one of our people involved in Leadership Oshkosh. So thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Anything else that anybody wants to any questions, and obviously I'm here. So you have my contact information. I will send you a copy of this and the PowerPoint, a link to the application. Please share with others if you see that you know somebody else in your professional or personal acquaintance that this would be a good fit for. It's made really, I mean, from the very beginning, as Abby said, for aspiring leaders as well as leaders in the community, new. We've had like when the superintendent came into town, she was in it when and I'm just speaking since I was involved, when the police chief, when the fire chief. So we have had owners of companies go through it. And then we have had individuals that are seen within their organizations. And once again, I'm going to use Abby's word here, but where you are at the beginning of your career and you are being tapped on the shoulder, or you see that, hey, this would be a great way to further my leadership skills. I do want to, just so that no one is disappointed, state that it really is about community leadership. So yes, UW-Oshkosh does a wonderful job for that retreat of going through, and that's probably a little bit more academic than we do the rest of the time. But from then on, you will get leadership, but you get it from, say, I'm looking at Deb right now, you're getting it from Dr. May, who is the president of the Fox Valley Technical College. You're getting it from Wilson Jones, who is the CEO. And so it's real life. Okay, so here are the things that you face. How are you dealing with them? Here are the opportunities. Where did you start out? And you get to meet the administrator, or excuse me, you get to meet Mark Roloff, the city manager, and have conversations with him. So there are opportunities for you to meet leaders in action where it's not just a case study, but sometimes people see that it's going to be a case study kind of experience. That's not this. This is real life. So, all right. Otherwise, I thank you so much for joining us this morning and taking time out of your day to be here. And I look forward to meeting some of the faces I recognize, but I look forward to meeting you all in the future. To me, if you have any questions, and alums, thank you so much for being part of this. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.